ABC Action News Plus is sponsored by Culpeper Curland. Auto accident? Call Culpeper Curland. From Tampa Bay streaming news leader, this is ABC Action News.
Our coverage of the recovery effort after Hurricane Helene continues today, and coming up, we're getting an update on the cleanup that's happening in Oldsmar. And President Biden in the Big Bend area yesterday surveying the damage, the federal funding coming to Florida, and the county's now eligible for FEMA assistance. Thanks for joining us here on ABC Action News at 3, everyone. I'm Paul Legrone. It has been more than a week now since Hurricane Helene made landfall in Florida, devastating some of our local communities. As we now continue our coverage of the recovery effort across Tampa Bay, we're checking in on the city of Oldsmar. ABC Action News reporter Larissa Scott has the update on the cleanup happening there. Sunset Beach on Treasure Island is the only part of the Pinellas Barrier Islands without drinking water, but a boil water notice for most of that area has been lifted. Pinellas County officials shut off service to St. Pete Beach, Treasure Island, and Tierra Verde on Friday after pipes were damaged during Hurricane Helene. The county is still asking people to reduce water usage to prevent sanitary sewer overflows as crews continue to work to bring the pump station back online. And a Tampa-based nonprofit group is on the ground in North Carolina as well, working to help with the rescues. Project Dynamo travels around the world to volunteer during times of disaster. Right now, they're working with first responders to find those who are still unaccounted for. Project Dynamo tells us if you have a loved one in North Carolina and you haven't been able to reach since the storm hit, get in touch with them. Try to right away. Residents, homeowners, and business owners in Bradenton Beach are now cleaning up after Hurricane Helene. They were allowed back into the city yesterday. Derek Williams owns the Drift Inn. It was one of the original businesses on Bradenton Beach. It's nearly 100 years old. Williams tells us there was about 4 feet of water inside the bar. He has removed everything and plans to start over.
When we walked the island that morning, it was pretty substantial and breathtaking. Just take your breath away as far as I've lived here my whole life, so in 51 years, I've never seen anything like this.
Other businesses like the Fudge Factory on Bridge Street also had damage. The owner threw out about $75,000 worth of candy, fudge, and other products. The owner says he plans to start over. Meanwhile, in Bradenton, many people continue to rely on bottled water after the storm surge breached the city's drinking water reservoir. In the immediate aftermath of the storm, the city announced its primary drinking water source was compromised when storm surge breached the dam on the Braden River. We spoke with residents in the area who say the water tastes salty.
It was mainly the taste that concerned us. When we're trying to bathe with it, it doesn't really feel like you can get clean. I don't know whether it's the salt water or whatever they're using to treat it, but it just doesn't taste that great.
The water does meet primary drinking water standards, but not secondary water standards because of levels of chloride being used to treat the water. In the meantime, residents tell us they've been buying water from local grocery stores. Governor DeSantis announced executive actions to help speed up hurricane recovery. One authorizes supervisors of elections to make accommodations so that everyone can vote despite any storm damage. A second executive order lifts time restrictions on vacation rentals so that hurricane victims can use those rentals for temporary housing.
We have regulations in this state, some of them local, some of them state, that require rentals to be greater than 30 days, either greater than or less than 30 days, depending on the locality. So you have this 30-day thing. Bottom line is you may need less than 30 days if you're rehabbing your home. Maybe you need a little bit more. If you are a victim of Hurricane Helene, those regulations are lifted and you can rent what you need to rent regardless of any arbitrary rules.
Other efforts include access to $15 million for zero-interest emergency loans for impacted businesses. Firefighters and first responders have been helping families in need for days following Hurricane Helene, but many of them have homes themselves, which were also damaged in the storm. Our Pinellas County reporter Casey Albritton had a conversation with one local organization that is now working to help the unsung heroes. 1 week ago, Hurricane Helene made landfall in Florida's Big Bend, the powerful storm impacting several states and taking the lives of 200 people. President Biden visited the Big Bend area yesterday, getting a look at Helene's aftermath here in Florida. U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg saying that more federal money is coming to Florida. Right now, a total of 22 counties are eligible for FEMA assistance.
We're just coming together to get things done and get people the resources they need so that they can get back to normal as quickly as possible.
Meanwhile, Governor DeSantis announced yesterday a new executive order allowing county election supervisors to have flexibility with early voting. This so that Floridians impacted by Hurricane Helene could still vote in the November election. We are learning that over 40,000 people in North Carolina have applied for disaster assistance. That is according to the White House today. FEMA has paid out more than $6.2 million to survivors so far. President Biden has asked FEMA administrator to stay in North Carolina until the situation is stabilized. Right now, there are over 1,200 federal personnel delivering resources to North Carolina. Over 7,000 crews from across the country and Canada are working on power restoration.
We're continuing to find people. We know we have pockets of people who are isolated due to landslides and bridges out. So they are disconnected but not missing. Power, Wi-Fi, and phone coverage remains a barrier to connections. Only once our search and rescue ends will we truly know a number of unaccounted for.
Search and rescue teams have saved over 2,100 people. The North Carolina National Guard has delivered more than 100,000 pounds of food and 38,000 pounds of water. At times like these after a storm, they're tough for so many people, but they also bring us together and really give us a chance to show how we help each other out. We hope you will join us tonight at 8 for a primetime special report. We're going to highlight the shining voices in our community who have been helping our neighbors after Hurricane Helene. Reaching a tentative deal, thousands of dock workers are now heading back to work after coming to a tentative agreement suspending that strike. Up next, the negotiations set in place and the deadline for a new contract.
For the love of home, shop in store or online. The most accurate weather team in Florida, ADC Action Weather.
Sponsored by Farrah & Farrah Personal Injury Attorneys.
Hi, everyone. I'm meteorologist Jason Adams with your Friday and weekend forecast. We are looking at decent opportunities for rainfall again this afternoon into this evening, especially along and west of the I-75 corridor in places that saw significant rain yesterday at the coast. This is where we're going to have a better chance because our east wind pattern continues, one that's very favorable for this type of a setup like we saw yesterday. And it's also what we usually see into the middle of summer, not here into the beginning of October. So still very summer-like out there for us with lots of sunshine mixed with a few scattered clouds. Prior to the rain arriving this afternoon into tonight, we're going to see highs into the upper 80s and lower 90s. The record in Tampa, 92. We tied it yesterday. We may do that again this afternoon. But notice by 4 and 5 o'clock, coastal showers and thunderstorms compared to inland spots. And we're going to hold that rain chance here at the beaches at around 50 to 70%. A few showers possible later today into tonight in our inland spots as well. But best coverage will be here west of I-75. And then fast forward into tomorrow's outlook, we'll cut down the rain chances quite a bit compared to what we've been seeing the last few days to only a pop-up shower or thunderstorm by 4:30 Saturday afternoon. Now getting into your Sunday outlook, we're going to start to see some rain out into the Gulf of Mexico begin to organize and head our way, and it's what our team has been talking about over the last few days. This is the start of a pretty soggy period of weather going through the next 7 days with rainfall likely as we go from Monday, Tuesday, and on into Wednesday. So as far as these rain chances go, going to be much higher by the time we get from Sunday on into your Wednesday. Some of this could have a tropical connection to it as well, so keep checking back in with us over the next few days for the very latest on that. Here's what it looks like if you do have beach plans today. Again, at the coast, it's more so about cleanup than anything else as we continue to see most of the beaches closed to anybody but residents and businesses. So if you are doing cleanup today, watch out for those late day showers and thunderstorms into the afternoon and evening. And for the boaters that are still taking some supplies out to the barrier islands, 1 to 2 foot seas in the Gulf of Mexico, light chop conditions in our bays and inland waterways. That thunderstorm chance really ramping up after 4 p.m. And that's when we're really going to start to see that rain coverage up to around 50 to 70%. We'll keep you posted on that as we go throughout the day today.
The union representing 45,000 dock workers at East and Gulf Coast ports, including Tampa Bay, have reached a deal to suspend its strike. Dock workers will go back to work today after a tentative agreement on an offer for better pay. A source says the agreement amounts to a $4 per hour raise for each year of the 6-year contract. The union says the master contract will be extended until January 15th, and then they'll return to the bargaining table to negotiate all other outstanding issues. The union went on strike early Tuesday after its contract expired in a dispute over pay and automation. The walkout raised the risk of disrupting the flow of almost half the goods that come into the U.S., which could have led to shortages and higher prices.
It means that they can provide, put food on the table, pay their bills. They don't have to worry anymore of possibly losing their cars or their homes or anything like that. You know, we're just coming back off of a major catastrophe, maritime tragedy with the bridge collapse. We were out of work for 2 months. Now we're out of work for a few more days. We're very excited to be back.
The tentative deal would still need to be ratified by rank-and-file members before it goes into effect. 3 of 5 former Memphis police officers were found guilty of witness tampering in the 2023 beating death of 29-year-old Tyree Nichols. Nichols was accused of running from a traffic stop after being pepper sprayed and then tased. He died 3 days after he was beaten. The 5 police officers also charged with murder in state court. So far, a trial date has not been set. Well, last night, the Atlanta Falcons defeated the Bucs in overtime on Thursday Night Football. Both offenses had a solid showing led by quarterbacks Kirk Cousins and Baker Mayfield. The Bucs had a 30-27 lead with 1 second remaining in the game, but the Falcons kicker forced overtime with a 52-yard field goal as time expired in regulation. The Falcons and Bucs now sit at 3-2 in what is shaping up to be a tight NFC South race that currently has Atlanta sitting at the top. The Bucs will face the Saints on the road October 13th.
Hello everybody, this is Sean Daly in Tarpon Springs at a fantastic new shop called The Funk. Now, despite growing pains, they decided to switch gears and help people after the storm. Their amazing story coming up.
The most accurate weather team in Florida, ABC Action Weather.
Florida's most accurate 7-day forecast, one that's fairly soggy, but not every day. We're going to see dry conditions through the afternoon until about 4 and 5 o'clock this afternoon and 2 tonight. Rain chances bump up to 60 to 70% here, especially for the coast. Then as we get into your Saturday outlook, I should say, rain chances drop to around 20 to 30% for the afternoon and evening. So it's that pop-up scattered shower thunderstorm pattern versus what we've been seeing yesterday and what's expected here later on today and to tonight. Then as we get into your Sunday outlook, this starts that period of soggy weather that our team has been telling you about for several days now. A little bit of a tropical connection to this as well. Right now, we're still unsure of if we see an actual tropical storm or hurricane develop in the Gulf of Mexico. Some forecast models are showing that would be by the middle of the upcoming week, next week. So a couple of days of some scattered light to moderate rain showers coming in off of the Gulf with a non-tropical low pressure system. And then by the middle and end of the week, models want to bring potentially a tropical system back into the area. So we've got a lot to watch over the next few days. We'll keep you posted right here from ABC Action News.
Prepare for the storm with the ABC Action News weather team.
Storm surge is the rise in water level as a hurricane approaches the shore. A storm's wind pushes the water onshore, causing it to rise and flood in areas the tide might not usually reach. The greatest threat to life during a storm is the water. Remember, hide from the wind and run from the water.
Experience the universal difference. Universal Roof and Contracting.
Tampa Bay, Paul LaGrone, my hometown. Journalism is how we understand the world. It's how we make sense of our time. For me, getting to tell the stories of my hometown is special. As a journalist with ABC Action News, I'm always curious, always searching. From Palm Harbor to Plant City, the Bay Area is full of hardworking people. People who have stories that deserve to be told. I'm Paul LaGrone. Tampa Bay is my story.
Well, all across Tampa Bay, small businesses and mom and pop shops are shifting gears and helping neighbors in need. One of those places is a quirky new boutique in Tarpon Springs called The Funk. And Sean Daly takes you there. A Dunedin woman is rebuilding for the second time in a year after her home flooded during Helene. After the break, we're taking a look at the available resources and how she's still finding positivity amid all that destruction. And a missing boat found nearly a mile away after the hurricane. We're hearing from the boat's owner and the person whose home it washed up at.
From Tampa Bay streaming news leader, this is ABC Action News.
Recovering from Helene, how communities are coming together to help each other and provide hope in desperate times. Plus, Feeding Tampa Bay stepping up to provide food for victims of the hurricane. How many people the organization has helped over this last week. Thank you so much for staying with us here on ABC Action News at 3, everyone. I'm Paul Legron. We've covered countless communities from Citrus County to Sarasota County impacted by Hurricane Helene. Now, one woman living in the Baywood Shores area of Dunedin reached out to us telling us to check out the impact they're dealing with there. So we sent ABC Action News reporter Jada Williams to that community that is now rebuilding for the second time in a year. If you have to file an insurance claim, you can speak face-to-face now with several insurance companies starting today. Florida's Chief Financial Officer Jimmy Petronas announced the state is opening an insurance recovery village. This is video of a similar insurance village that opened up in Charlotte County last year. Petronas says 42 insurance companies will be in one place. It's at the Clearwater Parks and Rec Center off North Belcher Boulevard.
If you do not know what type of insurance you have, please come. You don't know if you have contents, if you don't have windstorm, or if you have flood, auto, come to us. Let us help you solve your insurance claims process. We'll have about 42 different insurance carriers there, and I've told the insurance carriers, if you are going to participate in our insurance village, you must write checks on site.
The Insurance Village is open today through Sunday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Again, that's at the Clearwater Rec Center off North Belcher Road. Feeding Tampa Bay has a new list of emergency distribution sites opening up all across the Tampa Bay area today. There's going to be 2 distribution locations in Hillsborough County and one in Hernando, Manatee, Pasco, and Pinellas. The locations listed on your screen right now. Now, the earliest distribution site opens up at 8 o'clock this morning at the Gulfview Grace Church in Port Richey. For the exact addresses and the hours of operation, visit our website. We've got it for you, abcactionnews.com. Feeding Tampa Bay wants to help more Hurricane Helene victims, but they could use your help to do that. The organization says they're adding emergency relief distributions every day, and they could really use some extra support. Multiple distribution sites will open throughout the weekend, this weekend. If you're interested in helping out, you can go to feedingtampabay.org for the volunteer calendar to register for a shift. Our friends and neighbors need your help in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, so we have started an ABC Action News Gives campaign. All donations will stay in our Florida communities and will be used to help those in need clean up and rebuild. Just go to abcactionnews.com/gives to donate, or you can text STORM to that number on your screen right now, 50155. Any amount will help. Storm cleanup took on a different twist in Hudson as a crew of people helped get a missing boat back home. Pasco County reporter Eric Waxler reveals the unusual place it showed up. Pasco County now has 4 comfort stations open up in addition to one in Newport Richey. The locations listed on your screen. Pasco's comfort stations are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. The Newport Richey station is open from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. You will find air conditioning, restrooms, showers, laundry, and charging stations for your phone and other devices. Make sure to bring your own toiletries and laundry supplies. Hillsborough County leaders want you to know some of their comfort stations have plenty of space while others are filling up fast. The county is asking folks to go to the comfort station at Skyway Sports Complex. That's on George Road there in Tampa. Since they have a lot of space there, we're told the location at the Sandy Perone Park has been experiencing long lines. The comfort stations have showers, restrooms, laundry, and food for those who are impacted by Hurricane Helene. The nonprofit Clothes to Kids, which provides free clothing for kids in need, is now helping families after Hurricane Helene. Pre-K through 12th grade students can now sign up to receive a wardrobe. You can shop in person or you can pick up a to-go bag. There are 3 in-person locations in Hillsborough and Pinellas counties. Shopping is by appointment only. You can call the store to schedule that. Your child does not have to be with you, and you can also request a to-go bag. Volunteers will fill up the bag based on your child's size and preferences. The organization can also help with delivery. And if you'd like to donate, there are several opportunities to do so. You can drop off clothing in all sizes to any of the 5 drop-off locations around the Tampa Bay area. And you can find a full list at abcactionnews.com. You could also make a financial gift or volunteer to come process donations, restock the stores, and coordinate deliveries. We've seen a lot of generosity throughout our communities this week after Hurricane Helene. Families picked up free car seats from Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital in St. Pete yesterday. The hospital put out a call to action, and a lot of folks stepped up to donate.
we learned that many people's vehicles have been flooded, and of course that means they lost their vehicles and also their car seats. So we wanted to ensure that their children can travel safely and provide a little peace of mind for our community.
Well, they actually ran out of supplies yesterday, but we're told they're already buying more car seats to give out to local families.
The most accurate weather team in Florida, ABC Action Weather.
Sponsored by Farah & Farah Personal Injury Attorneys.
Hi, everyone. I'm meteorologist Jason Adams with your Friday and weekend forecast. We are looking at decent opportunities for rainfall again this afternoon and this evening, especially along and west of the I-75 corridor in places that saw significant rain yesterday at the coast. This is where we're going to have a better chance because our east wind pattern continues, one that's very favorable for this type of a setup like we saw yesterday. And it's also what we usually see into the middle of summer, not here into the beginning of October. So still very summer-like out there for us with lots of sunshine mixed with a few scattered clouds. Prior to the rain arriving this afternoon and tonight, we're going to see highs into the upper 80s and lower 90s. The record in Tampa, 92. We tied it yesterday. We may do that again this afternoon. But notice by 4 and 5 o'clock, coastal showers and thunderstorms compared to inland spots. And we're going to hold that rain chance here at the beaches at around 50 to 70%. A few showers possible later today into tonight in our inland spots as well. But best coverage will be here west of I-75. And then fast forward into tomorrow's outlook, we'll cut down the rain chances quite a bit compared to what we've been seeing the last few days to only a pop-up shower or thunderstorm by 4:30 Saturday afternoon. Now getting into your Sunday outlook, we're going to start to see some rain out into the Gulf of Mexico begin to organize and head our way, and it's what our team has been talking about over the last few days. This is the start of a pretty soggy period of weather going through the next 7 days with rainfall likely as we go from Monday, Tuesday and on into Wednesday. So as far as these rain chances go, going to be much higher by the time we get from Sunday on into your Wednesday. Some of this could have a tropical connection to it as well. So keep checking back in with us over the next few days for the very latest on that. Here's what it looks like if you do have beach plans today. Again, at the coast, it's more so about cleanup than anything else as we continue to see most of the beaches closed to anybody but residents and businesses. So if you are doing cleanup today, watch out for those late day showers and thunderstorms into the afternoon and evening. And for the boaters that are still taking some supplies out to the barrier islands, 1 to 2 foot seas in the Gulf of Mexico, light chop conditions in our bays and inland waterways. That thunderstorm chance really ramping up after 4 p.m. And that's when we're really going to start to see that rain coverage up to around 50 to 70%. We'll keep you posted on that as we go throughout the day today.
Tampa Bay, my hometown. Journalism is how we understand the world. It's how we make sense of our time. For me, getting to tell the stories of my hometown is special. As a journalist with ABC Action News, I'm always curious, always searching. From Palm Harbor to Plant City, the Bay Area is full of hardworking people. People who have stories that deserve to be told. I'm Paul Agrone. Tampa Bay is my story.
Well, in the days after Hurricane Helene, the ABC Action News I-Team reported on the strict limits in Pinellas County for dumping storm debris. Private trash companies say the rules are now creating a bottleneck for homeowners who are now paying to get those piles of debris off their property. I-Team investigative reporter Kylie McGivern listened to one trash hauler who tells us these barriers need to be removed before the Tampa Bay area gets even more rain. Well, we know that rebuilding will be a long and slow process for a lot of folks if they can rebuild at all. That's the situation some people are facing. ABC Action News reporter Michael Paluska explains how much damage a home sustained might trigger something called the 50-50 rule.
This is an ABC Action News Tracking the Tropics update.
Sponsored by these valued partners.
Your tropical update shows that we continue to see a couple of named systems out in the Atlantic, Kirk and Leslie. Neither of these pose a risk to the United States, but we're also looking for a 40% chance of development back here to the Gulf of Mexico over the next 5 to 7 days. Now, this is a couple of systems that we're watching. This first one coming in out of the tropics is not one that will be developing into a tropical system, but we are watching what happens back here into the southwest Gulf of Mexico, the Bay of Campeche, because this could potentially develop into something and head our way by the middle of next week. Still so far out into the future, though, we can't can't say that for certain, but it is something that we have to monitor through the weekend. So check back in with me through the weekend and then our team to start the work week next week, as we'll keep you posted on that should it start to develop and become a concern for us as far as tropical systems go. So we've gotten all the way through Leslie. The next name on the list, if this system does develop as we head into next week, would be Milton. We've got Nadine followed after that, Oscar, Patty, and Raphael. Hopefully we do not see any of these name systems, but yes, the next name one on the list is the M storm, and that would be Milton.
Closed captioning is sponsored by Dimmitt Automotive Group, serving Florida's Gulf Coast for over 100 years.
Prepare for the storm with the ABC Action News weather team.
When it comes to hurricanes, water is the biggest threat to life. That's why it's so important to plan ahead now. Learn what flood zone you're in and the routes to take if an evacuation is called for your neighborhood. Sign up for mobile alerts from local officials and take warnings seriously.
From our team at West Shore Home, stay safe this hurricane season and always listen to local experts when it comes to evacuations.
A surfer in Indian Rocks Beach is being called a hero after neighbors say he used his paddleboard to make several rescues during the hurricane. ABC Action News reporter Robert Boyd with the story. Reaching a tentative deal, thousands of dock workers now heading back to work after coming to a tentative agreement suspending the strike. Coming up on ABC Action News at 4, we'll talk about the negotiations now set in place and the deadline for a new contract. And our coverage of the recovery effort after Hurricane Helene continues. Today we're getting an update on the cleanup efforts happening all across the Tampa Bay area.